Hey everyone, here's yet another crazy offering bass. This is a 2000 Imperial um, from Fodera. 24 fret bass, really thick ebony fretboard, nice curly walnut top. We got a maple tone block and a mahogany body. You can see the neck's actually 5-piece with a couple big stringers, looks like. Wild. You've got the extended B headstock. Something very unique that Fodera designed. The B string tuner is actually right here. This is the E, and that's the A. So it's a little different than what a typical 5-string's gonna have, right? The B is usually here first, right? And sometimes they're 2 and 3, right, instead of, or sometimes some are 3 and 2, which is the standard configuration. At least that's what Fodera typically calls it. So this one sports some very special pickups that the previous owner actually had made by Peter Hingwinkle in California. These were built to the Seymour Duncan specs, because I guess the routing for the original pickups, which were Bartolini's, they were a little bit smaller, I guess, than the current Seymour Duncans. So these were built to the same specs. So they're a handmade product, which is really cool. So this instrument's not going to sound anything like a typical Fodera. It's a little bit different. Another really cool add-on that Pete did was he added this thing called the in/out switch. So the concept is when it's actually engaged, so it's actually off or on. When it's off, the bass operates just like it would if it were 2 dual coils, and you've got your blend knob. You can actually do the typical thing where you turn it to the top or towards the headstock, and you're basically engaging the neck pickup, or you turn it to the towards the bridge, and you've got access to the bridge pickup. And obviously, as you vary it, you're getting a variation between the bridge and the neck, and then if it's past the center detent, same thing, you got that. But the cool thing with the switch, this in-out thing that he's got, when that's engaged, in and out actually means that when the blend knob is pointed to the headstock, it's the inner coils, these two, that are actually operating to give it a kind of a 60s vibe. And then when you flip it down, you're actually getting the outer coils, which is like a 70s setup. So very cool. So all of this is hum canceling, so you don't get, unfortunately don't get single coil mode, which a lot of Foderas are pretty much known for. But if you know the Anthony Jackson model, that's actually set up only in dual coil mode. That's all he has, because he's got no controls and nothing, and everything comes from your fingers. So that's just some little quirk that I know specifically, because I've actually played one of those basses. I was very lucky to be able to hold one. It's cool. So yeah, the other different thing with this being kind of the somewhat older preamp, it's got no mid-switch knob, or sorry, mid-switch switch. There's an active-passive switch and an on-off switch. That's all it has. So it's versatile in its own regard. To be honest, with the active switch off, this thing's really hot, and it does even have inside the control cavity, there is a control or a pot that you can adjust to actually get more output, which I honestly wouldn't, because this thing has crazy output, and a lot of the outputs in it is a lot of lows. So, well, I think that's enough chatting for now. It's been almost 5 minutes, so let's start to hear how the bass sounds. So what do I got it at? centered. Then you can just hear it basically even. So no matter what with this in-out switch, switch it the other way, it's pretty much the same. So basically, wherever the switch sits, as long as the blend knob is centered, you're going to get both pickups. So now So right now the in and out is actually engaged because it's towards the player, or me. And right now I technically have it in 60s mode, so it's got a bit of a warmer tone going on. But if I flip it back, I think I actually have the tone all the way up too. I'll even turn the active passive on. I'll flip it back to so this is technically the in out switch away, and this is sort of your standard mode. So I'm in regular humbucking mode. And now here's what most people would probably understand is like the P-bass mode. Because it's pointed, I've got the blend knob towards the neck pickup. And if I go back to the bridge, pretty good, really good B string on this bass. So this bass is 33-inch scale as well, and I have it strung with Fodera 120 to 40 strings, which are their light gauge strings. I really like them because you can get super low action with them. On a 33, you can really feel the lesser tension of a 34, but this particular neck, not a single amount of buzz anywhere. The only thing buzzing right now is the amplifier in my room, and that's my playing. So for those that want a little bit more tension, I've actually got a set of Tomastic Infelds to go with it that are actually 130 to 50, so it's a lot more heavier, a little more taut, kind of gives you more of the feel like a 34-inch scale. Not exactly, but a little more tension, obviously. I like the looser feel. Sorry, I forgot to add on as well. I've got the volume on max and the tone on max too. So if I dial the tone back a bit, you're going to get a more darker sound again. If I was to compare this to other brands that I've played before, I'd say this is more kind of like a Ken Smith kind of sound without there's usually a little bit of a nasally sound to a Ken Smith. And this one doesn't have a, in comparison to a typical Fodera, I find this one doesn't necessarily have a lot of the kind of the highs and this little bit of different thing that's kind of going on with their latest customs. I really like it. It sounds good. This instrument doesn't really have that. It's more of a low, this thing's got heavy lows, probably because of the mahogany body. It's very open sounding. Another cool thing is it actually is for an Imperial weighing in around 9 pounds is actually surprising, because typically these are beasts. This typically would weigh probably about 11 to 11 and a half pounds on a normal build today. So the fact that it's like a bit over 9 is actually surprising. So that's cool. It does actually have the latest Fodera bridge, which is cool. That's another added bonus. But it does not have the latest tuners. However, I really do like these. I think these are Shaler's, and they are very, very solid. I also like the old vintage style butterfly too. It's awesome. Anyways, if I bored you guys enough, I apologize, but if you've really appreciated my video, just send me a like. If not, send me a dislike, and whatever, make a comment, I don't mind. Anyway, I like making these videos, and it's fun. Because the best thing is you get to kind of hear the bass roughly with a guy that's, I'm not this amazing pro that's going to blow your mind on an instrument that's going to sound most typically like a normal person would play it, or at least someone that plays a little bit. I call myself more of a beginner. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys.